Hello, Timothy Ruark here. I'm a sophomore here at FSU, and today I'll be analyzing the piece La Esencia del Guaguanco by Johnny Pacheco. It's a very interesting song, if I may say so myself. Okay, so first some background information on the artist and the context of his music. Johnny Pacheco himself was born in Santiago de los Caballeros, Dominican Republic, in the year 1935. Pacheco found his love for music through his father, Rafael Pacheco, who was a clarinetist and the band leader for the Santa Cecilia Orchestra in the Dominican Republic. As Johnny grew up, his father's music had a profound impact on his life, as he was always trying to learn more about the music of his culture. When Johnny turned 11, he moved to New York City with his family and began learning American music styles as well, uh, blending the two together. Learning to play the accordion, violin, flute, saxophone, and clarinet. Um, he really helped blend together the musical traditions of the Dominican Republic and American cultures from which he himself grew up in. After playing in several different orchestras and bands, Johnny organized an orchestra of his own in 1960, known as the Pacheco y Su Charanga Orchestra. With his orchestra, he rose to stardom and sold over 10,000 copies of his first record, titled Johnny Pacheco y Su Charanga. Pacheco then went on to start up the legendary Fania Records label in 1964 with some of his friends. Um, Johnny Pacheco's illustrious musical career paved the way for many young Latin artists of the time and kicked off the salsa explosion of the 1970s. This is very important, and this leads us to the song itself, which was released in 1970 and helped this salsa explosion flourish. For further understanding of Pacheco's life and his journey, I've attached here a picture of the route his family took to get to New York from his family home in the Dominican Republic. Additionally, to convey the energy that he brought to the stage, here's a picture of Pacheco on the right performing with the Fania All Stars. I think this picture is very interesting because it shows how he would dance and get the audience involved in what he was doing. To provide further context for the song, I'm going to play an excerpt here from La Esencia de Guaguanco so you can understand what I'm referring to later. Please enjoy.
Escuche usted la esencia del guaguancó. Escuche usted la esencia del guaguancó. La tumba que ella te llama y el tambor que la reclama y un coro que dice así.
So that's the song itself. It repeats for another 3 minutes, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so La Esencia de Guaguanco itself is a very interesting piece as it was released at the peak of Pacheco's career. To understand the complexity of this song, it's necessary to analyze the technical musical components of it. First of all, the rhythm of the piece consists of a consistent beat made of drums, piano, and bass. Overall, it has a very fast tempo that is consistent with salsa music at the time. The frequency is constructed of high-pitched brass instruments juxtaposed with the low-pitched bass. This builds a very large range for him to work with. The amplitude is very loud, as you can hear in the clip. The timbre is very light and happy, with many instruments including aerophones and the brass, membranophones and the drums, and chordophones and the bass and the piano. The texture is polyphonic with many different instruments playing different things at different times. And finally, the form is ostinato with a repetition of the same ABA pattern, which is very in line with the genre of music he is playing. Okay, so I chose this song because I've always loved Latin music, and I really wanted to gain a better understanding of how it was brought to the US and popularized. I think the story of Johnny Pacheco perfectly captures this, as he literally brought his culture with him as he moved to the US in the form of his music. This piece also shows how he developed his style by introducing many different instruments that are shared in both the American and Dominican cultures from which he hails. Hopefully, by hearing about Pacheco's journey and listening to his song, you'll have gained a greater understanding of how Americanized Latin music developed into what it is today.